Kimberly Robertson. I'm the HR manager for Merrell Brothers. We actually did a lot of research online trying to find someone who created those types of marketing tools. We had received one in the mail for something, and my manager handed it to me and said, look into this and find a way we can utilize something like this for Merrell Brothers. And so our IT partners started researching and gave me three options, and Devin and I ended up having a conversation, and he really checked all the boxes with what we were looking for on primarily collaboration. And so that was how we came to be familiar with him. So I would probably say our largest challenge was there is so much information about the facility and the technology, all of the regulations involved, that we needed a way to get that information in front of a lot of people in a consistent way. And having one of the owners who developed that particular technology trying to say it over and over again, you realize it's something that if you could put that in people's hands so they could hear all of the pros about using this type of facility for municipalities, and it's really servicing communities. This was a mechanism that really helped to define what Florida Green could potentially do for a community. And so that was really the major challenge we were looking at, was getting all of the aspects of who we are, how this came about, what are the I guess processes that are used to do this type of a facility, and then obviously the science behind it. And so we were able to, build in graphics and testimonials and a lot of different things that helped give us one pretty brief package, but it gives you just a large amount of information that's helpful to clients looking at this as a solution for their community. So through working with Devin on the areas that we really needed to get across to a client, he was able to help us develop our video booklet into four primary topics, I guess. And so we have an overview about our company, and then there's an additional section for the process that we use, as well as the science behind it. And then just having some testimonials about what people have been able to accomplish with the products, because they are environmentally sound. And that's the most important aspect, I think, to most clients when they're looking at a product, obviously, is, what's behind it, and what are we getting ourselves into. And the booklet's able to answer all the questions that a lot of our clients have. So it's really an entry conversation that Merrell Brothers is able to have dozens of times over, to open that door and give us a chance to maybe have a further conversation with a client. So we're using the video booklets in numerous ways. Ted could be working at the facility, he could be traveling through the country, and he will get a lead from someone that's interested in hearing more, and he can just shoot myself or one of our assistants a message to say, can you throw a couple of books in the mail to this person? And so although he's got a very heavy agenda going from place to place and continuing to keep Merrell Brothers operating, he's able to expedite this information in a really great format that answers a lot of questions. And then he can, either schedule a follow-up meeting, and it just gives us the opportunity to get in front of people who haven't just gotten a postcard in the mail. They've really heard and had a lot of questions answered. So we know that they're truly interested a lot of times in the technology and the process, so that it's valued time once he's able to get with them. So we're putting them in the mail. A lot of times he takes them to trade shows and has a marketing specialist now on board with the ability to go out and really speak to customers, but to give that as a handout, because you can't have a 15-minute conversation at a trade show. And so great way to put that information in their hands. Our target audience is generally municipalities, and every little town to enormous metropolitan area would have a municipality that would be a potential client for this type of service. So oftentimes it's governmental officials, county commissioners, a variety of individuals. Engineers are very interested in this type of facility because of the different technologies involved. And so having that type of backing along with being able to put these booklets in individuals' hands, you a lot of times have county commissioners that's not their specialty to understand all the depth. But Ted has put the information in such a way that it's in layman's terms and anyone can understand what they're looking at. There's a lot of criteria that's really critical to counties to make sure that they're taking care of their constituents or the community itself. And so that's primarily our target, is getting it in the hands of municipalities, which we would then bid on projects with them. So it's not like it's a retail service where you just have a customer that calls you up and wants to do this. It's a lot of times a very long extended process. So it gives us the chance, I think, to professionally give them the courtesy of they can do this at their leisure, look at the information. Of course, it's coupled with us having those links online as well. We've sent them overseas to Europe. So we do know that this is something that a lot of different clients would want to consider in all the options that are out there as they're considering spending money, that's brought in by taxpayers. I do feel that oftentimes the clients are wowed by the video booklet because it gives them the opportunity to hear so much information. So we have made several referrals just because that's a conversation that builds up. But it's also really the message coming through definitely is what resonates, hopefully. But yes, we have had a lot of individuals who are, of course, perked like we were when we first got the first video booklet that came to us. It's a tool that's it just is different. It gets people's attention and they can watch it over and over. So depending on the depth of how much they want to understand or have questions, they can continue to review it instead of a brochure maybe, that gives them the key points. This is almost a conversation with Ted and getting to know him and who he is. The technology speaks for itself, what it's capable of doing. However, this has obviously saved time, gives us an opportunity, I think, to not have to get into, obviously, when someone's telling the same story over and over. I know for Ted, he realizes if someone has these booklets, there's certain information they have at their fingertips. And so then hopefully when they do have meetings and can go into more depth, he probably has a feeling of what they're aware of and why they're talking with us. So I think it's almost like a funneling system. It gives us the chance to get the serious clients that are definitely interested in the process itself, the facility potential. We have other solutions that we're looking at doing some packaging, and I think that that's going to open other doors. So it's starting to become a way for us to channel a lot of information quickly and professionally in a great marketing packet. So we're excited about some future opportunities we have as well. I would say when we first started talking with Devin about the project, he was very easy to engage. He didn't seem bothered by us changing things multiple times. I don't want to take him into situations where he has to do a lot of that, but I mean, he just was very collaborative as we looked at the way different photographs and things looked on the package. Obviously, you kind of have to think of the way people are going to view that, and we would go down a path and suddenly realize maybe we don't want the clients to see that. He never really made me feel guilty for the multiple changes. He was really great with recommendations and suggestions. Great look to the package, I think, that gets people's attention. So that's just something that I'm in HR, and so I'm the person kind of that was tasked with tackling this project, and so my skill set does not build into the marketing side, aside from liking to get business for them. But Devin really filled that portion of what we needed, really giving us his expertise and guiding us through how clients would be looking at the information, how long it should be, just all of the different things that we needed to take into consideration. So I just appreciated his partnership with it. He was always very responsive to questions and changes and things. So we really appreciated the way he worked with us. So you could probably get a video booklet from a variety of places, but I think it's more about the collaboration that you have with a business, and that's why I've continued to stay in touch and try to come up with other projects that we can work with him on, because he's been great to work with. I guess one of the questions that he definitely overcame as an obstacle was this technology can change as we learn and get more data. There is different science behind it, different criteria that we need to share with clients. And we know that if there's a point where there's a serious enough change, we have the option to swap out a module, make that change on the video booklet. So even though we were purchasing a larger quantity, if halfway through that amount of video booklets we made a significant change, we could go in and swap out that particular video file. So that was a really huge plus that I think we would have been a little more reluctant to buy as many as we did had we gotten hung up on, wow, we're going to get locked in on what we're saying with the material right at this time, the numbers and the data. And this gave us that flexibility we needed to know we can always refresh a section or do something different if we needed to. So it made there a much deeper value with the purchase of the video booklets. So during the design process, we started with a logo and some photographs, and Devin helped really put together a beautiful package. I don't know that I could have envisioned what we ended up with, because we really wanted to project the size of the facility, and that's kind of hard to do in a photograph. But the way that he built in the logo, and we had some drone footage and photographs that really give the booklet kind of a kapow. So I really appreciated all of his direction on how we could make that work. And he just was very, I think, supportive in what we were trying to accomplish, wanted to understand what our goals were, and made it happen. I absolutely would recommend PrintAVizion, DMC. I feel that Devin is very professional and caring about his clients, and he's responsive, and that's these days somewhat of a challenge in many businesses. And so when you're tackling a big project like that and spending that amount of money, you really want to know that you're getting the support that you need, and that's been there 100%. So we've been very happy with the service, and definitely have recommended him multiple times. So.